The employees of HCR Manor Care established the Hug Fund in 2005. Since that time, the Hug Fund has helped over 450 employees during their times of need. The fund has helped employees coping with devastation from natural disasters, house fires, tragic deaths, and sudden medical emergencies. During some of the most difficult times in their lives, when an unexpected catastrophic event has caused financial hardship, employees have turned to the Hug Fund for help. Here are some of their stories.
On August 22, 2007, heavy rains caused flooding in our town. The river crested, and many families had to be evacuated. I was at work and caring for my patients and knew it was raining really hard and that the river was rising. I had no idea that the entire town was being flooded. About 5:30 in the morning, my sister called. She had been staying with my children while I worked. She told me that we needed to get everyone out of my apartment. I rushed home to find water pouring into my kitchen window. I sorta had to swim to get my kids and animals. My sister was holding her newborn baby and trying to help me gather up a few belongings. I knew that we were losing everything. All of our belongings, the kids' clothes, furniture, toys. It was hard to choose what to save and what to leave behind. The refrigerator tipped over, and I was frantically trying to get it open so I could get my son's epilepsy medicine out of it. The home that we had lived in for 9 years was being destroyed by muddy water. My husband left work early to come home and help us. He was fired from his job for leaving on that day. Between my husband, my sister, and I, we were able to get out of our apartment to the shelter of my sister's home. Now, we are starting over. The flood took my home, my belongings, and my husband's job. But my family is safe. FEMA and the Red Cross helped a little, but not right away. My co-workers and my administrator, Bill, brought groceries and necessities for my kids. Other co-workers took collections for us. The Hug Fund helped us with the things we needed right away. I'm so thankful for the generosity of the employees that donate to the Hug Fund. I'm amazed by the way the people came together to help us. The river has receded. We found a new apartment, and my family is safe. We are starting over and moving forward.
Just a simple sinus infection. Who could have possibly known that this would lead to 4 hospitalizations and the threat of home foreclosure? That is exactly what happened to me. I had a sinus infection, missed 3 days of work, and went back to work. 2 days later, my husband rushed me to the hospital where I tested positive for an antibiotic-resistant infection considered to be a contagious health risk to others. The medication used to treat the bacterial infection made me even sicker. Nothing seemed to help. I was just so sick. I couldn't go to work and I was afraid. My husband and I live paycheck to paycheck, and any time off work leads to financial distress. We have an 8-year-old son and lots of bills. Nearly 2 months with no paycheck led to the threat of home foreclosure and utility disconnections. During the time I was off work and in and out of the hospital, my husband lost his job. It's so hard getting hit like this. I was so sick and so worried that my family would have to leave our home. The human resource director at my work told me about the Hug Fund. He even wrote a letter to the Hug Fund explaining my situation. I was pleased by how quickly the Hug Fund responded. The fund helped me save my home and kept my utilities from being turned off. My family and I were able to stay together during one of the worst times of our life. I am still fighting, but I am no longer contagious, and I am able to work. My husband just started a new job, and we're getting back on track. I am grateful to the Hug Fund because it's there for you, and it helps you when you need help the most.
I'm a hardworking mother of 2 active boys. When I'm not working as an LPN, or going to school to earn my RN degree. My sons are my world, and I try to give them a good life. When my sons go to school each day, I trust that they will be safe. My trust was shattered one afternoon last October when my 15-year-old son was hit by a drunk driver while waiting for his ride home from football practice. An SUV plowed into a crowd of students outside the athletic field house. The vehicle hit my son and drove through a brick wall into the boys' locker room, striking 3 other students and trapping them beneath rubble. My son was rushed to the hospital where he was treated for a fractured femur, pelvis, and spine. He was gravely ill. After multiple surgeries to repair his broken bones and many weeks spent in the hospital, my son is finally home. His care needs are truly catastrophic. Since returning home, he has been back to the hospital on several occasions for additional treatment. Our lives will never be the same. My younger son is sad and anxious about his brother and our family situation. He too needs my time and support. I have not been able to work in order to care for my sons, and the financial impact has been devastating. We have feared losing our home. My administrator and co-workers encouraged me to apply for help from the Hug Fund. I received a grant to help pay for household bills and to keep my mortgage payments on track. It was very difficult for me to ask for help. I'm used to a 2-income household, but now we have only one. The drunk driver was my husband. My husband and I are well known in our community. The story has been all over the newspapers and television stations. We were both very active with our sons' activities. The boys were very close to their father, and this has been very difficult for all of us because my husband is no longer living in our home. My sons and I are moving forward. We are hopeful about the future and taking one day at a time. The Hug Fund shed a glimmer of light on a horrific situation. I am grateful to the employees of HCR Manor Care. Because they cared enough to contribute to the Hug Fund, my sons and I can begin to heal, and we can keep our home.
Through the financial support of HCR Manor Care employees, the Hug Fund provides hope for fellow employees in their times of need. This glimmer of light during the darkness of a crisis shines brightly because of you and your support. Your donation will touch the life of a fellow employee.